Good morning, guys, and welcome to Up and Smart. Racing today comes from Greyville, the grass track, and the conditions are good. There's a 13-kilometer wind, and there's been very little rain. 1 millimeter forecasted and nothing in the last 7 days. We start off with the first, and I'm gonna just do things a little bit different with two different screens. The one to show you what the JTR detail is all about, and the other one to actually show you on the race. So I'll be flipping between these two to show you what I mean. So in the first, we have um, the ranking averages of each one of these 20 indicators. The overall ranking, the greeny points, the exotic ranking, the adjusted time, speed rating, median speed, exact distance, median speed, form, statistical form, intent, super rule percentage, the total, the bomb roll over the last 42 days. That's the best average merit rating, adjusted lengths behind, and then the bomb roll over 84 days, over 168 days, and bomb roll curve, the consistency curve over the last 8 months, and the same with the BAT, which is bomb roll and adjusted time combined for 42 days, 84 days, 168 days, the curve for 8 months, and then the exact course and the exact distance, BAT CD. So, um, obviously the lower the better. All the ones is in green, all the twos is in yellow, all the threes is in red, and all the fours is in blue, and then the rest is all in light color. So the obvious options in the first, where I see the lots of ones, is Capriana at 11 to 1. Has the best overall ranking, greeny points, exotic ranking, adjusted time, speed rating, form, super roll percentage, total, bomb roll 42, 84, 168, bomb roll curve, as well as bat 42, 84, 168, and bat curve it's 7th, and then exact course and distance, bat CD, it's 2. It does have a draw to overcome though. There's flames for Lausanne Forbes and Kay Stradom, and Lausanne Forbes seem to have quite a few runners in the top 4 today. So that's going to be my first choice. My second choice is a mix-up really between uh, Peter Muscat and Solar on with Raymond Danielson here. You see there's a lot of threes. There's 2, 3, 2. There's one on super rule percentage and a one on bat CD. And the other one, Dennis Dreyer, is maybe the second choice, but I don't see any flames on Tristan Godden, so that means that the jockey trainer combination is not above 50% place chance. It does have the best opening betting, overall ranking, greeny points, second, exotic ranking second, exact distance first, stated intent first, which is a bit of a problem for me on Lausanne Forbes, because you see Capriana is only 12th on stat form and 13 on intent, and that's the one that actually brings the ranking average to a 3.5, since all the others are very good. So the question remains whether the form will actually be used. Without intent, there is no form, and that's why this is a worry for me. It's 13th on intent and 12th on statistical form. So intent is the intentions of the trainer to use the form, and it's gauged on a number of factors, competing versus the rest of the field, and it's not ranked very well. So that means Dennis Dreyer here is the top one, which is the favorite Austin, and then the second best on intent is Solar at 4.5. So those are definitely my first three options. Then next best, probably Alison Wright and Lyle Hewitson. Lyle Hewitson has quite a few rides for Alison Wright today, and you can see there's a few twos here, fours and threes. And then Tony Rivaland on 14 to 1, Let's Not Linger, has a few flashing here, and so does Paul Gatsby, has a few flashing on Mubiera with Richard Fourie. So if I take that and I then look at the actual, you can see this, the circle around it means it's the best in all those categories that I mentioned. Capriana has done the 1200 Greyville, not the best of time, 62.36, and it does get the 2.5 kilos off. But the last two runs when it came back from the rest was a lot better. See a 57.14 on the adjusted time with 60 kilos on the back. gives it a very nice 2.84 bat, and that's why the bat is the best, because of that very good adjusted time. It was an adjusted time over 1,000 meters though, and that's probably why there's 2.5 kilos off the back. Does have a draw to overcome, but the 1200 meters has about 400 meters before you get the turn, so maybe he'll try and get that around the corner right at the beginning. He does have the speed to do that because his super rule percentage is the best in the field, so he does have the speed to overcome that draw. So he's maybe a very nice each way option, 11 to 1 to win and 85 to 100 for a top 4. If he doesn't get over that draw, then I think the top 4 is gone. But the backup on the win side is probably solid with this 60.09 adjusted time, which is a lot better than the 62.36 on the 1200 Greyville, but that was in August last year. So, and then obviously you can see that Austin does have Tristan Godden with a 4th and a 2nd already, and the 1200 Scottsville time 58.4 on that run did run against Capriana, and did have a bad draw on 11. Capriana had a 6 draw, so the draws are swapped around at the moment. So they were only 0.2 lengths away from each other, but Capriana does have the 2.5 kilos advantage today. So that's the reason why I think Capriana is a good each way chance. Moving on to the 2nd, and we'll do the same on the 2nd here. And yeah, the lower to 1, the better the ranking average. So you have to take into account how many there is for the average as well. And in this case, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 runners, which means the best ranking out of that 14 runners is a 4 out of 14 on Always on My Mind. So there's again a Muscat, this time with Jacobs, but the previous one was with Danielson, but both of them has Flames. So he does have first on overall ranking, on greenie points, and on super rule percentage and bomb roll curve. But it's not a whole lot of difference between him and the Goosen runner, which is my 2nd best choice here. In fact, he does have a few better ones: median speed the best, form the best, intent the best, total the best, bomb roll 84 and 168 the best, bat 84, 168, and bat curve also the best. Very little between the 4 and the 4.18 average. And then there's a bit of a gap to a 5.04 with Shane Humby and Letaba. Star Act. Letaba comes later. And then Bestel and Fourie is the other one that does have a few ones at the top here. 5.6 on Soiree, 5.55. Now another thing to just keep mind of is this: how many runs back has the trainer won? And that shows you if the trainer is in good form. So Alison Wright's in good form because it's been 0 runs since the win. Kareem Bestel only 2 since the win. Woodendal 0 since the win. Humby 1. Gatsby 3. Muscat 4. Wendy Whitehead 2. So that just shows you that they're in form. And that's the ranking of the jockey, and that's the ranking of the trainer. And if you see Flames, then either the jockey or the trainer or both is in hot form. So in this race, maybe Louis Goosen is trying the double because he does have the favorite in the next race as well. But yeah, not a lot separating them. So if I move over here and I look at the 2, you see Always on My Mind, Muscat and Jacobson. They've both got the Flames here. Overall ranking the best. And then the 2nd is Beckoning Beauty. Total points 44 versus 42. Very little between these two. And that's the first for Louis Goosen, and he follows up with a favorite in the next that's got very good red bomb rolls. So potentially something that could be a double attempt for Louis Goosen, but Muscat could be on a double attempt with Always on My Mind as well. So then 3rd Star Act, Matadoras Parade, Lun and Demila's only runner for the day. They do have some hidden form on a 6.6 on the bat here that moved to a 14. It's normally the sign of how they want to hide things. And then Soiree, same thing, 5.82, then a 13.9. That's trying to hide the form. Duchess of Cornwall, 22 to 1 is not far out on the bats either, so maybe a bit of a cover on that 22 to 1 on Duchess of Cornwall. but all in all quite open that race. So I'm going to move on to the third, but just to show you the idea of how this works. In the third, we have very little, 4.72 for the favorite, which is Goosen and Stradom on Jacob's Ladder. And then just right behind is Forbes and Kennedy at 10 to 1. Now, it's not often you get 10 to 1 for a Warren Kennedy horse, and Lisa and Forbes, and that is Arminius. They do have a lot of ones here: overall ranking, adjusted time, speed rating, second on exact distance, first on form, first on total, and they lack a bit here on the Bomberel and Bat categories, but overall ranking very close to the best in the field. Um, but then Moore and Fourie is also very close. Moore's only runner for the day. Command Council at 11 to 1. That's my third choice. And then Lafferty and the Milo. Greyville is my fourth choice, with Tony Nassif and Kumalo Royal Mazarin my fifth choice. But you can see very little between these ranking averages for the first five. If I look over onto race 3, see 1,000 tunes has been scratched. So Command Council, Richard Fourie, Daryl Moore, blinkers being fitted, so there's a bit of intent there. The best back curve. Then Jacob's Ladder is far superior on the bat 42 by 9.9 lengths, but it's red bats, which means it's outside the 250 meters for if it's under 1600 meters, or 400 meters if it's over 2000 meters. So that's why Jacob's Ladder, he did get that 0 on a 1600 meters, but then when he tried the 2000, he only got a 23.81 bat. So it's clear that it looks like his 1600 form has been better, but that was before a little bit of a rest, so maybe now he's good enough to last the extra distance. But yeah, I won't be trusting it. Then Forbes and Warren Kennedy is the best overall ranking. They've also been there or thereabouts, but a bit of a tough race this to get through, I believe. Command Council with Daryl Moore's only runner, with blinkers being fitted again. You can see what happened the last time blinkers fitted a 16 and a 12 bat. Then they put the blinkers off and they got a 29. Now the blinkers is back on again, and maybe they'll get back to the 16, which makes it very competitive. And then Greyville, Lafferty and the Milo. Very open kind of feel to this race for me. A lot of options that can be considered, so not really a betting proposition for me here. In the fourth race, here the Forbes and Moodley combination and the Wright and Newitson combination has a bit of a gap to the rest of the field. So again, Lizanne Forbes this time with Moodley, but I am aware that Stradom was also in a race. So Maestro Sanjador and Flying Pekin. Of the two, I prefer Maestro Sanjador. It's clear there's better rankings there. But then we also have Wright and Hewitson at the top here with quite a low rankings overall, 4.14. On Predator at 6.5 to 1. And then Lafferty and DeMilo. There's a few ones here on Lafferty and DeMilo. Casemiro, that's the favorite. And then the 5.08, 5.4 is Kareem Bestel. Proteus Pride at 10 to 1. Overall ranking comes into third in the overall ranking. 5.8 is the next best, but very close. Then a 5.21 for Fists of Fire with Muscat and Danielson. So you can see there's quite a few that's very close. 5.11 here on Van Sale and Kennedy. Mystic Master. So a lot of the field is all within one of the ranking average in this field. So again, not a betting proposition. We get to the fifth race, and here's my best bet for the day. It's the first time when Dennis Dreyer puts on Lyle Hewitson, and you can see third, first, second, fifth, second, first, second, first. A lot of firsts all the way through, and a ranking average of 1.93 in a 7-horse field means that he should be first or second because his ranking average is under 2. So I'm going to banker him in everything today. And his name is Priceless Ruler. Now, if I look at Priceless Ruler form here in the fifth, see he's also a greenie, so the algorithms also picked him up. He does have the best bat forms. Sniper Shot has a bit of a question mark on the red bats here, and the best adjusted time, whether he can go the distance. And then Williams Land, only runner for Kannemeyer. The favourite is Crown Towers, but I only get him in at fourth because he needs to improve a little bit, coming from a long rest, and he does have 61.5 kilos to carry. I'm not saying he can't win, but I'm saying I'm going with Priceless Ruler, which has the proven form at 4.82, the best exact course and distance by 5 lengths to Sniper Shot. And all in all, just on the probability stats, 24 races that we've done over the 1600 Class A at Greyville, and the support is not very great on the bats. I see it's only a 22% is your best on the total, so 22% chance to win on the total for Priceless Ruler and 22% chance on Crown Towers. But yeah, I'm going to go with Priceless Ruler at 5-1. Looks like a decent each way proposition. Then moving on to the sixth race, and look at the sixth race ranking. So the only one where really a lot standing out is Priceless Ruler for me. In the sixth, you can see very open, because in the sixth race, the best ranking average out of a field of 16 runners is 4.75 out of 16, with Gareth van Sale and Tristan Godden, which is Mama Pajama at 5.5. And then the next best is the only run of Mike de Kock, Fire Flower, at 4.5. And then Andre Nell's only runner as well, with Keegan the Milo being the twice to Sydney at 10-1, pops in third. And then we got another Alison Wright and Lyle Hewitt. So now this is another interesting one. Hewitson is on Priceless Ruler in the previous, and here he's on Maria Carolina at 12-1. I won't let this leave this out of the pick six or exotics at all. I do think this is a sign 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 all the way through. So all the bomb rolls and all the bats, it's top. It doesn't have the intentions to actually do it, but it is Lyle Hewitson, and Lyle Hewitson is #1 jockey in the country, so that must mean something. So here you've got all the ones on the bomb roll bat on the form side, and here you've got all the intentions side on this side with a lot of ones. So quite an interesting combination. And also another Lizanne Forbes here, Peanut Butter, 22-1. I'm not going to leave that out the pick six as well, given that Forbes has got so many decent runners. I think that's one to be worthy of inclusion in this race. But all in all, you can see how they actually stand out, the ones that has some decent chances. So this JTR detail is a very important element in when you're looking at horse racing. And this is pure data. It's got absolutely no bias whatsoever. Everyone's got 84 rules to compete, and everyone's got the same chance to get the points on that 84 rules. I'll just show you what I mean with Priceless Ruler here. 65.63 points. He comes in as first. Williams Land 53, and Crown Towers at 40. So there's a lot of angles that we actually do look at, and Priceless Ruler for me looks like the best one in the pack today. This race, Mamba Pajama, Fire Flower, twice to Sydney, Maria Carolina, Peanut Butter, Rise. Who knows what improvement you're going to get from that third run from Iziesta. Twice to Sydney, Rise. Looks like Stratum has quite a few nice runners. K Stratum. Stable change as well on Rise. Blinkers fitted. Low 53.5. So also need to be respected. Rise. So another tough race. And if you don't just bank a Priceless Ruler today in everything, bipod, PA, pick six, jackpot, then you're probably going to end up with huge perms. Maybe a value bet to consider in the seventh is Drunken Sailor. Now, the reason why I think so is Governor brings Yeni on board here. He's a 3.72 ranking average, and the second best is 6% worse, Whitehead and Kumalo on a 4.39. So I just want to show you here the seventh race at the bottom here. See some decent 4s, 3s, 2s, and 1s. So it's not standing out. It's just a an average based on everything concerned. So Drunken Sailor pops up at the lowest. The second best is African Sunrise. Drunken Sailor is at 7 to 1. Shane Hummy does definitely feature on Lataba, 10 to 1, definitely worth a bit of a cover for that, 5.7 with Tristan Godden. And then Lafferty and Stradom has some decent Celebration Rock at 22 to 1 here. And then at the top here you have Rolf the Rascal at 9 to 1 that also pops up. So you can see there's a few runners in this field that gets all the 1s, 2s and 3s, which is Yogas Govender with Drunken Sailor, Kamala with African Sunrise, Rivalant with Vincent, Humby with Lataba, Celebration Rock, Lafferty, and then maybe also Maitland Magic and Rolf the Rascal. Justin Snaith has a 1 on stat form and a 2 on super rule percentage, but my hopes and dreams, it doesn't look so great on this side. So yeah, I'm not very confident on that Justin Snaith favorite either. Justin Snaith comes with some favorites, but he doesn't really feature on the list today. So yeah, all in all, I think you have to consider Drunken Sailor, Vincent, African Sunrise, Celebration Rock at 22 to 1, Lataba, Rolf the Rascal, Banzai Pipeline with Kennedy and Puller is also one to consider to just pop up because Kennedy and Puller has a very good ranking in the next. And then Maitland Magic coming from a race since Muscat has quite a few strong runners today. Then let's move over to the very last and try and finish off now. In the very last, Rivalant and Randolph is the top rated here, and 3.88 out of a field of 14. Camora, so if it's 3.88, it means he's under the 4, so maybe a top 4 on him if the odds suggested that, but there's no odds for him, so he's 3.88. Puller and Kennedy of 4.19 is second, so very little between the two, and he's at 10 to 1 Final Destiny. So definitely want to consider that could be running in here. Then a 5.24 Lafferty and Demelo again, so Lafferty might be on the double here with his Celebration Rock and Stradom in the previous one. Drogorati is the favorite here, and he does have a few 1s here, so he's a legitimate favorite. Best overall ranking and best bomb rolls and bat figures, and you can see there he's opening betting. But Lafferty's taken 16 runs since his last win, which is a definite concern for me, so something I'd be looking at in this race as well. For roughy chances is Sweet William here with a couple of 1s and 2s, and then a definite inclusion in the pick 6, My Lord and Master at 7 to 1, Dreyer and Hewitson. That's the one combined with Private Ruler, our best bet for the day. And he does show some decent statistics here as well. You can see Lyle Hewitson is first in the country, Kennedy is fourth in the country, so he's not out of it either. But the favorite is a valid favorite. If you look at his form pictures here, is pretty good, but his statistical intent is not so good. Statistical intent is actually first for Chocolate at 22 to 1, but he doesn't have anything else to support it. And second is My Lord and Master, that does have other stuff to support it. So he's probably the one that could be a roving banker in your quartet. But guys, this is how you can really use this to quickly see what stands out and what doesn't stand out. And today there's absolutely just the one Private Ruler that stands out, as I showed you here, 1.93. I'm just going to quickly show you, let's say yesterday at let's do yesterday at Kenilworth. Sorry, we've got 40,000 events in a month, so sometimes it takes a bit longer because there's some processes running to update the results, etc, etc. It's just taking a little bit too much now. Anyway, so yeah, if you've got a chance, then just look at that JTR combo sheets for the previous days, so you can actually get a feel of how it works and how you'll be able to use that going forward in your selections. Okay guys, that's it for today. Have a great day, and we'll chat again tomorrow when we are at Fairview. with some nice runners at Fairview as well.